Would have been crazy if
Well,
you kept it up.
welcome back, everyone.
Well,
This is
we'll never know.
PC.
They won't know what we're talking about.
The Professional Casual Fans Podcast, episode 24, I think. 24?
Yeah,
24, 25, something like that.
Is the last one up, Ryan?
No. I have to. I know. It's been a busy
I like
week.
how we're just recording all this for Ryan's fucking hard drive.
It's been a busy week. I'll get back on it.
Yeah.
I'll probably do it tomorrow afternoon.
All
right.
So
good to hear.
I got
good
the free period last period tomorrow.
Get those thumbnails going.
Oh.
All right, it's been a busy week. A lot going on in the NFL. Huge news going on in the Baltimore baseball world. Quite the whirlwind week for Baltimore sports. You go from having maybe the most heartbreaking loss in franchise history for the Ravens on Sunday to was that Tuesday? Tuesday night, right? Yeah, Tuesday night.
Yeah.
The news broke that the Orioles, I guess now former owner John Angelos, had agreed to sell the team to private equity billionaire Dave Rubenstein, who is a big Orioles fan, and he will be buying the team. Cal Ripken's part of the ownership group, which is really cool. And that's huge news. That may be even bigger than Dan Snyder selling the Commanders.
It's massive. It is massive. My dad always said the O's would never win anything with an Angelos in that office because they weren't spending. They'd always rebuild. They'd hit on draft picks. They were pretty solid at drafting, but like after the talent would bloom, they'd be like, it's time to go on a fire sale and just reload again. It was always a reload. Like never got over the top. We never went out and like signed a big name free agent. And I mean, hey, made a statement today. We're not that team anymore.
Yeah, speaking of free agent signings, this wasn't a free agent signing, but the Orioles went out and got their ace. Pretty much, I think this is almost like, last year was like the official opening of the championship window, but this kind of feels like they're like kind of when the Cubs went out and signed John Lester.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like that. The Orioles go out and trade for Brewers ace, Cy Young Award winner Corbin Burns. It is kind of a rental, but who knows with this new ownership group, he may sign long-term here. It's huge. I mean, that is a huge move. How long have people been saying in Baltimore, all they need is a starting pitcher. All they need is a starting pitcher. And I think it really kind of sunk in last year after they were sunk by the Rangers who traded for starting pitching and signed starting pitchers. So Mike Elias, once again, a masterclass. All they had to give up was Joey Ortiz and DL Hall, two guys who weren't even in their top five prospects. The fact that you were able to hold on to the likes of a Kjerstad and even like a Jordan Westberg, it is shocking, honestly.
Yeah. Feeling the fleece. Got him. Hopefully Corbin Burns still got it in him. I think he does. Another Cy Young Award coming this year, hopefully, with that defense
that is
playing
something
behind
that
him.
kinda, like low-key scared me. It's like they know something we don't. They're like, yeah, take him.
He's only 29.
Up his arm.
I mean, and pitchers can go for a while. I mean, you got Verlander still.
Yeah.
He could go. Pitchers easily go till like 35, 36.
Yeah. You saw CC Sabathia get it done for a while. Like,
yeah.
Pitching isn't like, I mean, on the arm it's strenuous, but like besides that, if you can avoid Tommy John, you're pretty set.
Yeah, I mean, look at Alek Manoah.
Yeah.
But,
exactly, but huge deal. Like you said, it's always the pitching, and pitching clearly is it's the most important thing in baseball. If you're not allowing runs, you're gonna win. Like it's always pitching. That's one of the goals. You should have a great rotation, and this is to add this to Grayson Rodriguez and
really
John Means. That's three studs right there.
Yeah, I'd say the projected starting rotation right now will probably be Burns, who could be the opening day starter, John Means, who looked great last year coming back from Tommy John,
he was insane, man.
Kyle Bradish, who was a Cy Young candidate last year, dark horse albeit, and then Grayson Rodriguez, who, I mean, the last time we saw him in Camden Yards wasn't the greatest. Me and Ryan happened to be there for
my
that
God.
debacle.
Ugh.
But
One of the
that was the
worst moments
playoffs.
of my life.
But I was very, it's hard not to be encouraged with what he showed towards the end of the year, and then Dean Kramer to round it all out. So that is a fierce starting five, and with the way the Yankees kind of tooled up this year, you're going to need that. And also, don't forget they added Craig Kimbrell to take the place of Felix Bautista, which is I mean, in name, it's a big name for a reliever, but who knows what Kimbrell's got left in the tank? But they're giving him $13 million for 1 year. So,
and in the division of the AL East, like you gotta load up because every other team is gonna be solid. You know it. You know the Yankees are out there spending millions and millions of dollars, but every other team's solid, rock solid all around in the AL East, and it's felt that way forever. So you gotta be able to go out there and make the key signings and key trades, and this is a big deal if you're an Orioles fan because we are not used to this. We're used to seeing our big names leave, not big names coming in.
I want within the next few months, and I think this is going to happen for at least one of them, is to get Gunnar Henderson or Adley Rutschman or even Jackson Holliday. Get one of them. If I had to guess, it's going to be Gunnar. You get them in a 10-year contract. You lock them up, and you see the really good teams do that. They identify their good young talent, and they pay them, and it's growing harder and harder after these guys get 1 or 2 years of experience. It's getting harder and harder to do that. So really hoping that they get those guys locked in here soon. I think you just saw that the Tigers just gave their top prospect, Keith, they gave him a big-time contract. He hasn't even played for him yet. So, it's one of those things. You have to get that done. And I have all the faith in the world that Elias knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah. I'm definitely down with the throw the money at Adley, throw the money at Henderson. We know they're studs. I do want to wait until we see a little bit of action from Jackson before we throw money at him. Because, you can be good in the minors. We've seen people come up and be complete dog water or mid-level player, and I don't really want to take the risk at throwing a whole bunch of money at such a young talent.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if I've ever seen a prospect like him, though.
Oh, he's a stud. No,
he is
with those clips.
Yeah, he is hitting it it does not Gunnar always had this sort of 2 or 3 week grace period where he would enter a next level and he would struggle and then he would just start taking off. Jackson Holliday doesn't do that. He goes to the next level. He started this season in single A and he was he was pushing to make the playoff roster. That was insane.
Yeah.
And I do think it was smart to keep him down there, although at the time I was like, call him up. But I do think I think he's going to be on the I think he could make the opening day roster.
That infield's going to be ridiculous. If he balls out in spring training because he's going to be there playing. So if he balls out there, I could see him definitely being on the opening day roster. But that infield is going to be something crazy. When you get all that young talent up there,
I'm getting amped up talking about it. It's just
you're going to have Westy.
You got
Westy. You're going to have Holiday at shortstop, Gunnar at third, Mountie probably at first, maybe Kierstad eventually, but Mountie at least for the next couple seasons, hopefully. Then you'll have Adley at catcher. Our pitching's kind of stacked now. Austin fucking Hayes out there in left field.
Cedric Mullins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully Cedric can reclaim what he was before he got injured. He was killing it.
Yeah.
So hopefully he can kind of get back to that.
He showed
Santander out there.
Right. Oh no, I could see a couple of them being gone here soon with all that use just below him, like Mullins. We got Colton Cowser, right? He's coming. He's hot on his trail.
See, my thought was that I thought that Cedric Mullins was going to be traded last year. But then when Colton Cowser came up and struggled as badly as he did, I think there was kind of a balk. And Cedric, I mean, you can't get away from the fact he's like a top 5 center fielder when it comes to fielding.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, he can be like a top 20 player when you combine like his ability to hit. I think he's better suited not to be the leadoff guy. I know it's kind of tempting to put him up there, but you take some of that pressure off of him, I think is better for him. And dude, not even to mention, they could have another number 1 prospect coming up in Samuel Basallo, who's down in Aberdeen right now, and he's killing it too. Like it's crazy. Like it's just, I mean, Elias, the job he has done, I don't know how any Baltimore fan could ever question anything he does. Like it's like the guy clearly knows exactly what he's doing.
But if those 3 years of just doomsday leads to just the greatest years in Baltimore Orioles history, I will take it any day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Baltimore's low-key the sports capital of the world right now. Knock on wood. I mean, you know, you had the number ones.
Whoa.
Sports capital of the world is crazy. I'm not going to lie.
Say that. I would not.
All right. Well, I mean, there's very few cities having the amount of success they're having.
They don't
right
have
now.
an NBA
I'll say that.
team.
Name another city that is having the success that they're having.
No NBA team.
I mean, this year
Okay.
it might be Baltimore, but like last year it was Philly. Like Philly went on like a 2-year run when all their teams are nasty.
I know, but I didn't say last year, did I? I said right now.
I mean, all of Philly's teams are still going to be nasty.
I don't know about that.
Eagles choked, but like the Sixers,
The Eagles choked. 76ers might be without Embiid. Phillies will still be good.
I like how we're like Philly did. I mean, look, Philly choked everything, and Joel Embiid's out for a while.
Okay, I'm just not going to give their Ravens
they did get swept, but I'm saying like as far as like, all right, you know what? Never mind. But
the audacity.
No,
I know.
Still,
both teams were 1 seeds this year. I know what you're saying. They both had the best records, but
yeah.
Baltimore hosting its first ever AFC Championship game. That was big too.
And getting whooped.
Yeah.
Getting bullied around out there.
But here's another question, if we're going to move on to baseball season for a little bit here. Are the Toronto Blue Jays the Buffalo Bills of the MLB?
The Blue Jays are like the Chargers of the MLB to me because they're always supposed to be so great. They're always supposed to be like the team. They're going to challenge for a title. This is the year. Last year was a fluke. When it's always the same thing. They either fumble the season like they just miss out on the playoffs somehow, or they make it and are eliminated in the first round. They're like the Chargers to me, if anything.
I say the Bills just because I feel like it felt like this year the Bills window closed, which is crazy to say because Josh Allen's still young and the team's not that old. But like Toronto, like there was a period of time like 3 years ago where it was like they're up and coming, they're going to be dangerous for the next like decade, and they still will be. But you know, like Bichette's still really good. Obviously, Vlad Jr. is great, and there's talent all around that team. But I feel like they got surpassed so quickly by the Orioles as like the up and coming team and the elite team in the division, and now it just feels like it's like, man, maybe they're kind of the
same division, passed by better talent. Also, like you said, stars all around. Like the Chargers, you look at their team, you're like, they shouldn't be bad. Like if you look at the names, you're like, they got the talent to be.
They're a Super Bowl caliber team every year.
But every year, ever since Herbert's gotten there, every year it's been, this is the team to watch out for. They can challenge Mahomes, but
they never quite do it.
When it comes down to it, they always fumble the bag. Like they
until Harbs came into town.
Yeah, they're the team that broke Minnesota's streak of not losing in the playoffs, isn't that?
What do you mean?
Like Minnesota had that streak for like 20 years where they couldn't get a win in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, I thought you were talking about the Chargers. Yeah, the Blue Jays. Yeah, they did. Yeah, the Twins who like made it by the skin of their teeth because their division was so bad.
Yeah.
and then just figured out
Yeah.
a way to win that series. Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I think that's my comparison. Who are the Dodgers, you said?
And baseball is so...
Yeah, who's like that team that every year they're supposed to be great and then they just fuck it up?
I mean,
There's
every year
another
the
team, but I feel
Dodgers
like
are
the Dodgers,
great. I'd say they're
The
more
Dodgers
like...
are incredible, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say they're great. They're more like, I don't know. What's in the NFC too? Like, I would say the Cowboys.
They're the Cowboys.
But like,
yeah.
Yeah,
They
I
are
would
the
say the
Cowboys.
Cowboys,
Yeah.
but they did win a championship. I know it was COVID year, but like, to me,
They won a
still
60-game season.
I know.
and a World Series where they didn't have to travel. Like, that thing does not count at all. Same with the Lakers. It's
you don't count any of the COVID championships.
Listen to him.
The Lakers, I count more, but that COVID season, let's not forget the Orioles were starting Rio Ruiz and like Andrew Velasquez in their infield, and they were like in contention for one of those last spots up until like the last 3 weeks of the season. So like I do not count that season as. And Luke Voigt was like the batting. Didn't he win like MVP or something for the AL or some crazy thing that year?
That was a weird year, but
he led the league in home runs, not MVP.
They did it. I'm just saying. That's the only reason. But the Cowboys is the most realistic one for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you guys. I just I can't stand. Number one, I wanted to follow up with the Blue Jays. Baseball is so crazy as far as like what year, like next year, the Orioles could be like a middling team. Like it's crazy how that kind of stuff works. But the Dodgers are just so like annoying because it's like all offseason they're like, where's Shohei gonna go? And it's like, let's see, he's a foreigner. He's going to the Dodgers. Like he's going to the Dodgers. Like there's no.
And then they brought his homeboy in too from Japan, Yamamoto or something.
Yeah,
yeah. I played with him in the show this year. Pretty nice.
But yeah, it's just like there was no like, and honestly, Dave Roberts is the worst manager in baseball. To have all the talent he does and somehow find a way to lose to the Diamondbacks in the first round.
Yeah, that's wild. That was wild.
It's just how he keeps that job is beyond. I mean, they have great regular seasons, but it's like you are full. I think how many MVPs are on that team? Because you got Freddie Freeman, you got Mookie Betts, you had Cody Bellinger. It's
ridiculous.
Or it's loaded. That team's always loaded. They're another team like the Yankees, gonna throw a whole bunch of cash at people. Whole load, bucket loads, just changing people's lives. Making Shohei like 70 mil a year. Holy fuck!
Just in debt, their fucking great grandchildren.
Dude, and they hit him with like the Affirm or like the Klarna deal. Because they're paying that man for the next like 40 years.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, all right, we're going to owe him $12 a month, guys. It'll be great.
We're never going to stop paying him.
But they acted like Toronto was in the running. And it's like, there's no doubt he's going to the Dodgers. Like, there's no doubt.
It was Dodgers or Yankees. Like,
yeah, he's going to. This is boring.
Like, it wasn't. There's only two options when you're that big of a name. Like when it really comes down to it, when you're like the number one star,
it's like the Lakers of the NBA, or it's like the Lakers of the MLB. It's like they're going there eventually.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like they're gonna throw a whole shit ton of cash at you. You're the biggest name. These are the two biggest stages to play on. Why wouldn't you go there?
Yeah,
unless you're like Ken Griffey and have a grudge.
Well, I do think the aspect of it, him being like a foreigner, like him being from Japan, does have something to do with it in the way that he would,
for sure.
You know, not saying like not him himself, but his team definitely wanted like that, the marketing and like the publicity of the LA market and all of the sponsorships and all the different commercials he can be in now. Not that he couldn't anywhere, but it's a lot easier in LA. And just the idea and spectacle of playing in Dodger Stadium every night, like it really, you know, I think sells to someone who didn't necessarily grow up like around a certain team. And, you know, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it played a little bit of a factor in it, but Moving on from there, should we shift back to the NFL?
There we can. Look at how lounged Ryan is.
I know.
I just keep peeking over, and he just looks like a dad on the couch when you come home from school.
And I look
like looked over, I was just like,
I look like a NASCAR coach. Or whatever. There's a NASCAR, like what do they call the guy who's like up in the tower?
The bitch?
No, in NASCAR where they're like they'll have a crew leader, I guess, the crew leader.
Yeah.
Anyway, NFL. We had the coaching positions are officially filled. Mike McDonald goes out to the great Northwest and joins the Seattle Seahawks. Not happy about that one.
Andy was since he's been a Raven fan. Since he's been a Raven fan, he's been saying that Mike McDonald, you gotta lock him in.
I did think if the Ravens, here's what I thought. I was like, my number one option was I wanted him to go to the Commanders. I wanted him to be the Commanders head coach. I thought he's a great option. And if that didn't happen, I wanted the Ravens to lock him in as maybe their head coach and maybe promote John Harbaugh to some kind of different position. But that was kind of lofty. And going to Seattle was the fart of the situation. It was just like there was no – I didn't want that at all. I don't want to have to face him. No, I don't mind Seattle, but it's like I mean, that's not what I had no desire for him to go to Seattle. I wasn't like, well, if he goes somewhere and it's not us, I want him to go to the Seahawks. But the Seahawks very rarely make any kind of mistakes. That's why they've gone through like two coaches in the past 20 years, and Holmgren and Carroll. And I think he is a very good option for them, especially with all the young talent that they have on that defense.
Yeah.
And then the Commanders, after Ben Johnson dropped out in a very unprofessional way, I will say, while they were on the plane to go interview him, he drops out of contention. They hire former Cowboys defensive coordinator, former Falcons head coach, former Super Bowl 28-3 lead blower, Dan Quinn.
Well. He has a ring also. He won in Seattle
Seahawks,
as their DC.
Yeah. And he was kind of the developer and, made the Legion of Boom a little bit. So, you got to give him. Yeah. He's a good coach. I'm not upset with Dan Quinn. Yeah.
My football coach when I was younger was boys with Dan Quinn in college. So
at Salisbury,
I like Dan Quinn. I like Dan Quinn a lot. He made the Falcons go to the bowl. Like, whoever saw the Falcons go into the Super Bowl? I mean, that team.
Here's the thing with
before he got there was, Matt Ryan was always solid.
He went there, and like I said, I'll follow up that by saying, like, Dan Quinn isn't exactly he wasn't my number one choice, but he's not a bad choice. He's a good leader. He had that Cowboys defense just rolling. And like you said, the Falcons defense, when he got there, got better. It had some down years, but they're a good team. He's a good coach and a good leader. The one caveat to that Super Bowl and those playoff runs, I will say, is his offensive coordinator was Kyle Shanahan, which definitely helps things a little bit. And maybe Kyle takes a little bit more of that blame
in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe that's Kyle's fault what happened, but it just makes it very important that he hires a really good offensive coordinator. Maybe he just sticks with Eric Bieniemy. I think that's very much in play at this point. I saw Chip Kelly was an option at OC, which is enticing in a way, but also scary as well. So we'll see how that pans out. I've also saw Clint Kubiak was quarterback.
You guys take
absolutely. I don't think there. I think there's very little chance that they go anywhere but QB.
You don't think Sam Howell's going to get another shot?
He will, but it's going to be in competition with whoever they draft.
Yeah.
Most likely Drake May.
They pick up
Drake
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson. Let's ride.
Danger Russ.
I do like the story, though, of Dan Campbell coming back to Maryland-ish area.
It is cool. I also have our grandfather, a friend of our grandfather's is friends with him from Salisbury as well. So a few different connections there. But yeah, I mean, he's a good coach. He was high on their list from the beginning. I do think Ben Johnson was number one on their list until everything hit the fan. But he's kind of what they wanted. They wanted somebody who had previous head coaching experience. He checks that box. And I don't think, although there's a lot of similarities between him and Ron Rivera in regards to their resume, I think they are very different in this point in their careers. So I'm excited. A little bummed out we didn't get McDonald, but, you know.
What happened who dropped out? Was it Ben Johnson who pulled out of the coaching role? Or
Ben Johnson pulled out, and so did Bobby Slowick. Bobby Slowick went back to Houston as well. He got a raise there. So
fun stuff.
Yeehaw.
Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Other coaching news.
So I'm trying to think. Oh, Ravens hired. They promoted Zach Orr, their linebackers coach, former player for them. If you remember, he got a neck injury that revealed a spinal condition, and he had to retire early. And John Harbaugh kept him on the staff, and he is going to be their defensive coordinator. So I think the players love him because really he should still be playing. He's only like 30 years old or something like that. So, yeah, I mean I think a decent promotion for them, and we'll see what happens. I think the Ravens are still reeling, obviously.
But shouldn't change. He shouldn't change much with that defense. Like, he's already been in there. He knows how things work. Yeah, just follow the blueprint. That defense will lead you where it needs to go. Steelers news.
He's just going to write on the whiteboard.
Hired Arthur Smith as ROC.
How do you feel about that?
I'm not really a fan of that maneuver. I mean, in Atlanta, at least like the run game was good. Like, that's something I can point at. That we're probably gonna follow the same old Steeler way, where you just pound the rock.
I would be looking at Tennessee, dude. Look at that how that Tennessee offense was when he was there. You might be getting King Henry.
Do you think that? If we get, I don't see us getting King Henry just because we got Najee, we got Jaylen Warren. Like, I don't think we're really, and we've been posting about Najee being the first running back in Steelers history, first 3 years, 1,000-yard rushing. So, like, I don't see us going away from Najee Harris anytime soon. And I mean,
I think they have comparable styles of running too.
I know he's built big enough to be a Derrick Henry level type running back, but it just, if he actually hits the holes and drops the shoulder instead of getting jiggy with it too often. But Arthur Smith, the run game will be well. I think the run game will be well. It will be interesting to see because it's kind of the same situation he had with Desmond Ridder with Kenny Pickett, you know?
Yeah. I do think Kenny Pickett's a lot better than Ridder.
I do too.
But
Ritter's terrible.
I think he also got kind of shafted in Atlanta. Like, that was just a weird situation. Like, they had a lot of talent, but, you know, just could never really reach that.
The only thing you need to see with Ridder is that one drive where Heineke was really struggling, and then they put Ridder out there because Heineke was doing really poorly. And literally on the first play after they put Ridder back out, he threw an interception. I was like, thanks for the chance, coach.
I just thought, like, the Steelers should have kept who was calling plays at the end of the year as the OC. Like, they were doing a good job. Like, it wasn't like they were messing anything up. Kenny Pickett had his most yards ever with that coach. Mason Rudolph came in and was going crazy. We looked past those 3 games because Mitch the Bitch was in there. So I'll give them leeway with that. You're not winning with Mitch. Mitch is the worst. But when Rudolph comes in, Rudolph was lighting it up. So, like, I just thought we should have kept rolling with those people. But we went out of
those boys.
It's one of the weird times we actually, like, went out of the organization and hired someone else, I feel like. We like to stay inside.
Yeah, they usually like to keep things in-house.
Yeah, so it was a weird one to go out and just sign Arthur Smith to me.
Should be interesting. Like I said, like he's a good coach, I think. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think maybe Najee Harris could be in for like a big time year. You never know. So, what
Yeah,
do we
that's
think
what
about
my dad was
the
saying last
Justin
year.
Tucker, Travis Kelce thing?
Dog, I don't get why so many Baltimore fans are so upset about this. Like I saw someone post on their story today about how Travis Kelce is getting canceled, and I was like, dog, what do you
Dude,
mean?
they hate him.
Like,
They're like, he's
it's like
classless.
Homeboy was. You could say what Tucker was doing was classless. He was literally posting up right next to everyone.
It's
Unwritten rule
gamesmanship.
is
Like, I
to
think it's like one of those things where they're just kind of going like it's I think it was
yeah.
like one of those things where like they could have just ignored him. Like, yeah, but it's like, I think it added fuel to their fire. I think they've kind of took on this like persona of like
Yeah.
we're the bad boys now. Everybody's doubting us. Everybody's doubting the
Yeah, but
two-time Super Bowl champion.
like everybody's acting like Justin Tucker wasn't a part of the situation. Like he was trying to intentionally cause something to happen, and he got a reaction. Like he went with the intent of getting a reaction. You don't warm up right next to the feet of the opposing team's quarterback. Like your helmet's right next to him. If you really want to look at it, could be a danger. Mahomes
Dude, he's
trips,
just
tears
trying to
his
get.
ACL.
He was just trying to. He was trying to sell some Royal Farms chicken. He was like, "You guys want a
Exactly.
Royal Farms coffee? It's hot and ready. It's what
Royal
I do every
Farms
morning before a
coffee.
game."
Everyone,
Royal Farms
I just don't
coffee
get
is the one for me.
like
that's when he
everyone's
just
acting
tossed
like
his
it was
fucking
such a
helmet.
big deal.
Yeah.
Like so many people I saw
He
talking about it.
tosses scalding hot coffee on Patrick Mahomes' face. He's like, "Hey, Patrick." Ah!
As he's singing the song,
Yeah.
Royal Farms guys, Patrick
No.
Mahomes just like, oh.
So you thought it was ridiculous people were getting
All
on
right.
Kelce about that?
I just think it's one of those things where it's like it didn't look good for Kelce, but at the same time, like even watching that video, like just where they are on the field, and like if you've ever gone to a football game or you've ever like seen it on TV, it's very obvious that like one team gets one half of the field and the other team gets the other. Now Tucker says he's been doing this his whole career. I believe that, but I do also believe he knows what he's doing. And
Yeah,
maybe they
he's being
didn't
a
take
dick.
it as like this. Yeah, like, and they didn't take it as like being this like kind of joking kind of thing, and they were getting like really serious about it, and like I think that's honestly what this came out to be. It's like Travis, like they just weren't in the mood to joke around, I guess. But it's like, all right, guys,
Yeah.
like, I just think everybody in the situation like knew what was happening, and like it didn't seem like Travis Kelce has like any like ill feelings towards Justin Tucker. Like I don't know if you saw the interview,
Not at all.
and he was just like, he is like the best kicker ever, like whatever.
Yeah.
And like I think Justin Tucker knew what he was doing, and he still does know what he was doing. So it's just one of those things where I think people on the outside are looking at it, and
This wouldn't have been, I'm telling you right now, and this isn't even a Taylor Swift hate thing. This is just my opinion. If this happened 1 year ago, it wouldn't have been a story really at all. And Travis Kelce wouldn't have commented because he wouldn't have given a shit. Travis Kelce has been known throughout his career to kind of do shit like that. But now he's kind of he has to have this like kind of aura of like, oh, he's down to earth and he's humble. He's his hometown hero. He's dating Taylor Swift. So I think that's why he was so quick to be like, actually, he was being a dick. That's why I did it.
I mean, he does say though. He goes, "If you want to be a dick, I'll be a bigger dick."
Yeah, he's like, I'll one up you every time. It's like, damn.
Yeah. But that was funny to me.
yeah, I don't think there was any like.
There's no ill feelings between those two.
Yeah.
I don't think.
No.
It's just like we're trying to warm up.
The bigger
Can
thing
you
was
please
like
move?
that.
And
Like
if you
I mean, it was
move-
getting chippy.
Yeah.
Also, I
Yeah.
feel like quarterbacks usually
Now,
don't warm
honestly-
up at that part of the field.
And honestly, though, Tucker might have added some fuel to
We're all
that
just
fire,
like-
though, because first half, fucking Travis Kelce was like 9 for 9.
Yeah.
like 90 yards already.
Like, all right, bitch, you want to warm up in my spot?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, it was like
some
getting
fuel.
chippy. Like I don't know if you saw Mollett was like throwing punches at like Chiefs players, and like I mean I think it was already getting pretty hostile down there, as it does usually in like playoff games. So I do think it has to do with like the Chiefs trying to like build themselves up. Like everybody's doubting us. We're the bad boys of the NFL, and they're trying to kind of keep this thing going. But it's
You
like
won the Super Bowl last year.
And they're probably going to win it again. But we're going to save that for our prediction show next week. All right. I think that's pretty much all we have to cover for this episode. We will see you guys next week. This is the Professional Casual Fans Podcast. Soon we'll be on TikTok. Soon we'll be on Twitter. Soon we'll be on Instagram. And soon we'll be on ESPN, actually. We're going to get a nice big deal from ESPN at some point, I'm guessing.
Big deal.
Just guessing. Yeah.
It's coming.
Multi-million-dollar deal to, air us every night. So, no big deal.
Yeah. So we can talk about Tucker and Kelsey.
Can't wait till we get sued for this.
Yeah, sued by Royal
Find
Farms.
me on ESPN Plus. March something.
They're going to see the copyright strike show up.
Yeah. I'll be calling the game.
All right, boys. Are we ready?
Yep. I think that is it.
Adios.
Amigos.
Corbin Burns and Oriole.